Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining the channel today. I'm Dane, your host of the Rock and Metal Guardian. Hope you're doing well wherever you may find yourselves. This is episode 20 in my little mini series called Back to Back, the greatest album pairs of all time. And though this is episode 20, I still have 4 more to go. It was up to 22 the last time I spoke with everyone here on the channel. Before that was 21, but now I have a couple more, so it will at least go to 24. I'd like to get 25 because the OCD in me wants, something divided by 5 or 10 or something like that, right? A whole odd or even number. But anyway, we'll see how things goes. I don't want to force something if it doesn't apply. Before we get to today's band, in case you're new to the channel or new to this mini-series, I'm going to go over yet again, what are the qualifications, in my humble opinion, what makes the greatest album pairs of all time. Number 1, they must be back-to-back in the discography. 2, they must complement one another, or a nice way of saying that is that they're companion albums. 3, the second one, chronologically speaking, in the discography must pick up where the previous one left off. They could have been a double album as next, and then they must both be seminal works. And a possibility also, and this doesn't work for all of them in my miniseries, but most of them, is that they could be considered, the 2 albums in question, the peak of the band's peak. And what I mean by that is that this is the 2 best albums in their best album run. So the peak of their peak, if you will. This one may work, it may not. It may be, with respect to this particular band, 2 albums after this particular pair. So with no further ado, the band that I'm going to talk with you about today is an American band, progressive rock from the 70s. I've already done a video on them for this series. There are 2 more that are definitely pairs, and this has been planned all along. This is not something I thought of, but all 4 albums is something from the get-go I've been thinking about doing. Excuse me. And the first album is in 1977, and the second one 1978. And here's a further hint. Their original lead singer is no longer with them and has not been with them for a long time. But the new guy, so to speak, in the band, with the rest of the band, of course, as Styx, performed and put out a CD. I think it's a double CD of both of these albums performed live. And yeah, I'm talking about, finally, Styx's Grand Illusion and Pieces of 8. Now, both of these albums I just love. And Grand Illusion is considered a Styx concept album by the band itself and by fans and critics alike. And it's a concept album, thematically speaking, not musically. There isn't a real story, so to speak, but all the songs have to deal in some way with the human condition. What does it mean to be human? This is something I talk about with my students when I teach literature, not so much when I teach history sometimes. And Kiss was my first band growing up as a child. 9 years old, 3rd grade, and before that I was mostly listening to pop and that sort of thing. Kiss was the first heavier band, and then lo and behold, next thing you know, Styx became my second favorite band after Kiss. For a while, other bands leaped in front of them, still to this day, but I still love Styx. And I can remember it like it was yesterday. On my door, as you entered my room, I had 2 posters. I had the Kiss poster at the top half of the door, where the members in Kiss, the original lineup, are in the spirit of 76. Peter's got the lone drum and the drumsticks, and he's got the red badge of courage bandage around his head. Might have been Ace, but I think it's Peter. And underneath that was the poster from the Grand Illusion album. So let's get started. The title track begins with some fanfare. You have, as you know, Styx to do at this time, kind of Genesis Duke-like, sort of, but I like this better here. The drums have that marching beat to it. It's a theatrical piece. The band's known to begin their albums with that theatrical piece. Of course, the next one as well. Think of Equinox with Lights Up, right? That vaudeville type style music. The lyrics here, we enter in the thematic waters here of the human condition. Dennis Belt's "Don't be fooled by TV, radio, and magazines. Don't let them tell you how your life should be." And of course, we can relate to this today. But the further message is deep inside we're all the same. That's repeated a few times. The solo after he says that the first or second time is fabulous. Then you get some fanfare after that again. Then the second solo later on, which is dynamite as well. You have the wonderful guitarist in JY and Tommy Shaw. Just a great pairing all around. And then at the end of the song, or near the end of the song, that search and quest for identity continues with the last lines of Dennis DeYoung saying, "And still we wonder who the hell we are." And then you get the fanfare, and then the song ends. Just a great song. Next is "Fooling Yourself," in parentheses, "Angry Young Man." And this song was written because Shaw was upset with the success or lack thereof, or mediocre success of Crystal Ball. It's, it takes time for things to become successful. And so he was upset. And so this song was as an answer and response to that. So it's moody, yet you have it's moody and upbeat at the same time. And the keys are nice in the song. You have this acoustic guitar that comes in after the upbeat and moody keys. And that pairs well, the keys and the acoustic. It works so well. And you have the acoustic essentially is underneath the keys, and it's just lovely. And then you hear this voice. It's brief, it's hushed. Is it Dennis? Is it Tommy? I'm not quite sure. We'll see this again on the next album. But then the acoustic takes the front of the mix, and the keys are now underneath, and then maybe dissipate a little bit. And then this song would absolutely fit well on the next album, Pieces of Eight, along with Renegade and Blue Collar Man, which are on that album. Those three songs have just a similar vibe, tone, atmosphere, if you will. The chorus comes in, and then you get more keys, that fanfare at the two-thirds of the way in the song, It's just an overall good song. I like "Fooling Yourself, Angry Young Man." I love Shaw's vocal style. It's different from Dennis, but the two work so well. Whether Dennis is singing lead and Shaw's underneath, or it's reverse, Shaw's on top singing the lead, and Dennis is one of the greatest background vocalists of all time, considering that he is a frontman, right? He's a great frontman, but when he does backups, they're equally as dynamite, I think. Something special about him, and it's too bad that the band, Dennis and the band, couldn't fix their problems. Next is the underrated superstars. You have this bubbly opening, and then when you get to the "You and I," that's when a song really takes off for me. The vocals are so great here. You have harmony, you have melody. They're just fantastic. Is this an answer to "Angry Young Man"? It seems that way because it's like, hey, we're going to be famous, right? Forget about the lack of success, Crystal Ball. I'm just guessing here, but it seems as an answer to that. And again, it is a concept album, so who knows? The slower paced guitar here is quite nice. I like it quite a bit. Next is the fabulous, overplayed for many, "Come Sail Away." You have the wonderful classic piano. It's lovely. It's beautiful. Dennis's voice is the highlight of the song. It's spectacular. It's just a great little light and shade song. Maybe perhaps foreshadowing Zebra's song, "Who's Behind the Door," in their debut album much later. The song is very emotive. It pulls and tugs at you. It grabs you. If you have an emotional bone in your body, this song will tug at you as it does me. Excuse me. Next is the heavy song, "Miss America." Kind of reminds us of "Sweet Madam Blue" because it's about America. JY on vocals is fabulous. I love JY as a vocalist. Just not enough of it, right, in the catalog. The song opens up with some more moody synths, and then you get that heavy guitar that comes in, and JY's voice is just fabulous. Dennis is the background vocalist here, so I talked about Shaw and Dennis. JY with Dennis underneath is fabulous as well. Just great when you get buku singers in a band, right? Anyway, Beatles, Kiss, you name it. It's fantastic. As Dennis's keys, of course, are still awesome here. And then the guitar from JY and Shaw are some of my favorite here. It's a great heavy song. I love me some heavy sticks. It's ear candy and it's an earworm. It's both. Next is the underrated and one of my favorite stick songs of all time, as is the one that follows, talking about "Man in the Wilderness." Shaw on vocals, great deep cut, emotionally resonant. Love the lyrics. "What kind of man have I become?" very similar and foreshadowing Blue Collar Man of the next album, dealing with the identity crisis. Chorus is one of Shaw's best. The guitar solo, all I have to say about that is wow. This is the Styx I know and love. Castle Walls, also an underrated gem, one of my favorite Styx songs. These two songs on the album, Castle Walls, Men in the Wilderness, the two deep cuts are my favorite on the album, surprisingly. You have a great bass intro here in Castle Walls. The keys come in, then Dennis's vocals. What a great way to segue, slowly, meander through the emotional issue that the song is dealing with. So, at the 2-minute and 35-second mark, the keys come in full force. Goosebumps, hairs on end for me. The other instruments then follow, slowly but surely, but the keys are on top. It's powerful, it's inviting, it's mesmerizing, it's captivating. It's just, the bass comes back after that. This is just a fabulous song. You have the motif of what was at the beginning of the song after the bass. That is like part of the pre-chorus, if you will. And then you get this fantastic solo, and then the chorus again. And then when the word destiny comes out from Dennis, you get the bluesy part with the organ underneath, later the organ underneath that, right? Just great. It's just fabulous. This is just a great song. And the song ends with that guitar echoing, and then it stops. It's just fabulous. And then, of course, you have the grand finale, which essentially is a motif or a reprise to both Superstars and The Grand Illusion. The opening part is a reprise to Superstars, and then it picks up and it's a reprise to The Grand Illusion because it has the tone and the vocal phrasing, and the music is both of those two songs rolled into one and a shorter reprise, as I said. So the album comes full circle, which is part and parcel for so many concept albums. And Dennis at the end here sounds kind of like a circus ringleader, right, as he does in Lights Up on Equinox, right? This is a nice touch. I like it here. Whereas on Lights Up, I don't care for it that much. Anyway, Pieces of 8. The first song is called Great White Hope, as you know. Has a live feeling because you hear audience cheering. I don't know if it's recorded live. I don't think it is. I think it's just, a sample or a mix there. And so you get that live feeling, kind of like Ziggy Stardust, kind of like Diamond Dogs on Diamond Dogs. So like Lights Up, as I said, and other Styx songs, you have this intro that is fanfare or vaudeville or theatrical in some way. This has boxing metaphors, being on the ropes, so it's very similar to Grand Illusion conceptually because of disillusionment and not faring so well in life and that sort of thing. And you have this heavyish style that comes in the song. The song's okay, it's not great. It's thematically similar, as I said, to Grand Illusion. Again, being up against the ropes, but it's not the best. This is not Styx at their best. As I said, I like it better than Lights Up. All right, next is a better song, I'm Okay. The intro is keys, similar to Grand Illusion. Very similar to Grand Illusion. I just think it's at a slower pace, and or there's a note is different, or a chord is different, but it's very close. The chorus is the best part. Is this an answer to the previous album? That disillusionment from Angry Young Man in that song? Is this about bouncing back from disillusionment? Because Dennis belts about, I'm in a relationship and I'm doing better. That's something, hence I'm okay, right? Then you have that fanfare of keys, would fit nicely on Grand Illusion. So again, these two albums make a great pair. Anyway, next you get the message, just an instrumental part to pair nicely with the next song. Think of it as an introduction to Lords of the Ring. But for the message, it's just overall a nice keyboard piece, as short as it is. Wish it was a little bit longer, but I get it. So Lords of the Ring, being a Tolkien fan, reference or not, I think it's in part a reference to that. It's a great chorus, great song. Shared vocals with Shaw or Young, I'm not sure which, because sometimes Shaw sounds like Young and vice versa. Fantasy song lyrics, I'm big on that. Dio, Uriah Heep, you name it. Progressive rock in general, Genesis, right? Rush, I eat that up with a spoon. This is a fabulous piece. progressive in ways, and you have some nice guitar and nice guitar riffs. Next is the fabulous Blue Collar Man. And now when I think of the song like Carry On Wayward Son and Rock Bottom by UFO, I cannot help but think about one of my favorite TV shows of all time, and that is Supernatural, because it's like season 2 and 3, and Dean and Sam are on the run, and there's this scene where towards the end, how do they get out of their sticky situation, because they're surrounded by FBI agents in, full body armor and stuff, black, ski masks and that sort of thing. Well, they beat up 2 guys and take their armor and their mask, and then you see them walk to the car at the end of the episode, and as Sam removes his mask, this song comes in. It's Renegade. I made a mistake. It's not Blue Collar Man. It's Renegade, which makes more sense because Dean and Sam are renegades. So anyway, I meant to say this later in the video, but that's okay. But Blue Collar Man and Renegade are my 2 favorite songs on this album. So again, I love me some heavy Styx. The opening heavy organ synthesizer here is so John Lord-like. I wish Styx did more of this. If Styx had done more of this, I'd be even more a fan, and I'm a huge fan, up to a point. Again, I wish there was more of this. And again, this song has that delusionment because of being unemployed, and wow, family not backing you up on this one. Usually your family would. Anyway, great vocals from Shaw, great background vocals from Dennis. Again, talked about that, right? Just lovely. And you have fabulous guitar from JY and Shaw here. Just amazing. Now, what's interesting is something I wrote down, but something just occurred to me that I hadn't thought about. So let me talk about the thing I've already prepared, because I've been thinking about this for years, because I have a playlist. Blue Collar Man is in my playlist when I play the album Paradise Theater. That's the only album in the playlist plus the song. Here's why. And I forget where I put it. It might be at the beginning or anyway. But Shaw belts at one point in Blue Collar Man, Paradise, Can It Be All, I Heard It Was, I Close My Eyes, and Maybe I'm Already There. And then you get that fabulous guitar solo. Wow, one of my favorite in rock history altogether. And this song would fit well in Paradise Theater. Whether it's intentional or not, I don't know. If I had to guess, I would say no. Whether it wasn't intentional or not, it works so well. It fits in nicely with that album as well. And then while I'm talking to you right now, I thought, well, wait a minute, so does Blue Collar Man. That would fit well on Paradise Theater as well, because the song could be about, the Paradise Theater is closing and I'm unemployed. So these 2 songs, I got to put this in my playlist and figure out where it goes for that when I play that. These 2 songs pair nicely with Grand Illusion, and they also pair nicely with Paradise Theater, which is an album I love as well. So now, as I said, the solo is Dynamite after he says I'm already there. And then later on the song, you get, the music's going all right. And then Shaw belts, all right. That's just phenomenal. I love these 2 albums. And then, like Grand Illusion, you get some hushed mumbling towards the end. Is it Dennis? Is it Shaw? Is it Young? I don't know, but I like it. It reminds me of Grand Illusion a little bit, even though it's really brief. And then the song ends with some guitar sustain. That's just quite nice. Next, why was this not a hit on the radio? This is an underrated gem. It's an underrated masterpiece. Talking about Queen of Spades. This is one of Styx's best deep cuts, along with Men in the Wilderness and Castle Walls. Fabulous singing from Dennis. Fabulous lyrics. Hair stand on end. I love a good love song. The guitar comes in. It's so heavy. It's that light and shade. It's similar to Miss America. The guitar solo is in a bit. The solo is fabulous. And so is the solo towards the end of the song. That sustain, right? Very similar to Sweet Madam Blue. And then the acoustic guitar with the keys. What a fabulous ending, right? And then we come to Renegade, and that's what I meant to say when I mentioned Supernatural. This is the song in Supernatural, not Blue Collar Man. Shaw's voice with that heartbeat sound is just fabulous. It's dynamite. Then the harmony comes in with Dennis in the background. There it is again, right? And then before things continue, you hear, I don't know if it's yeah before the song kicks in and gets heavy, or is it just gibberish, but you have yeah, and then the news was all right, just great. And then you have a fabulous solo. It's nice and long too. I love a nice, good long guitar solo. And then Dennis's sustained keys. It's brief, but he's playing his keys and he extends it through running his fingers across the board or something to that effect. And then there's that sustain that goes with it. I wish they did more of that. He did more of that in the discography when he was still in the band. It's brief, but it's great. And then there's more guitar that's just heavy goodness. And then it's just great. And then Pieces of Eight, the title track, a slow ballady type number, still a great song. This is when Stick was still doing ballads the right way. It picks up, of course, the song does. It gets a little bit heavier, but without consuming the overall mood and tone of the song that's established at the beginning. So I like it. And then finally you get Aku Aku, the instrumental piece. The piano was quite beautiful. It's a nice instrumental. Maybe it belongs somewhere else in the album and should have ended with Pieces of Eight. Maybe flip-flop these two. But I get what they were going for. A nice, quiet way to end the album. It's lovely. I get it. Anyway, let me know what you think about these two albums in the comments below. And please click the notification button to be apprised of all upcoming videos in the future. And finally, the last thing I wanted to say was, these two may be Styx at their best, but it may be Paradise Theater. I'm not sure which. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye now.